Welcome back to another episode of the Retro Craptacular podcast, where each month we continue our search for the best bad movies on the planet Earth. I am your host, Aaron, and I am joined, as always, by my delightful co-host, Matt.
Oh, that's so sweet.
So delightful.
Oh, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Everything is fine. Nothing is wrong.
This is fine.
Politically or in the public health arena.
Oh, boy.
We got through it. And then January 1st, everything just reset back to normal. And
I love how obsessed people are with New Year's, like
right?
Like the date changing from one day to another on a specific part of the year somehow marks some great revolution in the way the world is going. No, I've never felt that way.
No, it's kind of same shit, different year.
Yeah, I'm that way with birthdays too.
I mean, yeah, at a certain point, like.
I remember someone was like, "Oh, you're 18 now. How does it feel?" I'm like, "The same." "Oh, you're 25 now. How does it feel?" "The same." Like, just to be clear, being 18 and 25 was very different.
Yeah.
But just in the course of one day changing. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. Oh, in the course of one day changing. See, I was stoked when I turned 25 because I'm like, oh fuck, I can rent a car now without an exorbitant fee. That's amazing.
Well, I didn't know that was.
It's like the last milestone.
Okay. Sure.
The only reason I know that is because like one time when I was like 22, I needed to get somewhere, and my parents wouldn't let me use their car, and so I was like, oh, maybe I'll rent a car. And then I looked at it, and it was like, if the driver's under 25, there's like a $200 surcharge.
Oh, jeez.
For like extra insurance. I'm like, fuck. But yeah, no. Yeah, no, I know what you mean. It probably goes back to like, I don't know, paganism. Most things do. You know, probably the changing of the calendar year probably had some sort of significance. Maybe.
Yeah.
It's just a guess.
I also didn't celebrate the solstice, so.
Fucking animal. Why not?
Actually, I think I did celebrate the solstice with a game of Dungeons and Dragons.
The days are getting longer, Matt. How do you not celebrate? Literally every year of my life that I lived in my parents' house, sure enough, I would wake up on the winter solstice, and the first thing my dad would say would be like, well, days are getting longer. Which is like such a white dad thing to say.
Absolutely a white dad thing to say.
Like, who fucking cares, Dad? Thanks. It still gets dark at 4:30 now instead of 4:26. Ooh. Yeah.
Well, Happy New Year anyway.
Happy New Year anyway. Yeah. Let's not talk about COVID. I was about to ask how you guys are going back into a lockdown or whatever, but
yeah, I'm in Ontario. Let's not talk about it.
Don't want to talk about. Hey, we're not far behind you.
Oh, that's sad and true.
I
mean, since we've spoken, it's been the holiday seasons. I'm sure there's lots of movies and medias that we've gorged upon with endless hours of little else to do.
Yes. I went on a Christmas movie marathon the week of Christmas because I decided that the week before I would go get a COVID test and quarantine for the week so that I could see my family. And before y'all yell at me about how 20% of negatives are actually false are actually false and blah blah blah, I know, but I also didn't have any, symptoms or anything at the time, so I felt pretty confident.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Me and my wife also just quarantined ourselves for 2 weeks prior to Christmas so that we could go see her parents without feeling guilty. And I mean, like, I totally get it. Yeah, like, no, stay home and everything, but no.
Yeah, well, and like, I took a pretty educated approach to it. Like, my parents both work from home. They don't see anyone other than my Oma, who also lives alone, and she doesn't see anyone other than my parents. And so, I took a week off from seeing my girlfriend, which sucked. But
yeah, that's rough.
That was rough. But it's just the way it worked out. she was going to end up doing Christmas at her mom's house, and I wasn't going to be able to go over there. And if I did go over there, then I wasn't going to be able to go see my parents. So we just decided we'll do our own Christmas thing on Boxing Day.
Yeah, okay.
Kind of thing, you know? So yeah, I had a Christmas movie fest where I watched, what did I watch? The first 2 Home Alones.
Nice.
Jingle All the Way.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I watched Jingle All the Way with the Weekly Planet podcast commentary track that they did, which was hilarious.
Oh, good.
Because also I've seen Jingle All the Way like 1,000 times, so I was like, might as well. What else did I watch? It's a Wonderful Life, which I bought.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Which I bought on 4K Blu-ray because it was on sale.
Did that enhance your experience?
Well, no, I don't have a 4K TV or player, but it came with a regular Blu-ray, so I watched that. But it was really funny. On the packaging, it says with HDR, high dynamic range, for brighter, more vivid colors.
Oh, baby.
And I'm like, It's a Wonderful Life. It's in black and white. What?
That's special.
It was so funny.
Some special marketing.
I did that, and then I also, at the same time, bought the entire series of Xena Warrior Princess, and so I've been making my way through that.
Ooh, that's a big switch.
$50. $50 for all 7 seasons or whatever.
Okay, not bad.
Yeah, not bad, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Never seen the show before. I mean, other than like I probably saw a handful of random episodes in the 90s, but I never actually like watched it religiously. But it's going back. It's fun. I like it.
Okay, so yeah, I've also only ever seen like the occasional episode when it was airing on that Sci-Fi channel.
Space.
That's Space.
Probably
I
Space.
didn't remember the name Space, but yeah, that was it. It's just been too long. It would like come on before Relic Hunter or something.
Yeah. Fun fact: the guy that owns the company I work for now used to own Space.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, crazy.
Little fun tidbit for what company I work for. If any listeners want to Google outdated Canadian television stations, there you go.
It's a fun rabbit hole. No.
Yeah. But, I mean, I think the most important thing... Well, okay, so what did you watch, actually?
Oh, I mean, I watched a whole slew of movies that I've never seen before.
Oh, boy.
I mean, like, obviously I watched The Grinch, the 2001, but I watched that even...
I think we talked about that last time.
Before we podcast in December, yeah. So, I mean, like, I watched a new Christmas movie called Happiest Season.
Is that the one on Amazon Prime?
I think, is it on Amazon? Probably.
Or is it Netflix?
It was on one of them, or both, or I don't know. But
is that the one about the lesbian couple that?
Yeah, it is a LGBT
comes home for Christmas. Yeah,
Christmas movie. It was lovely. It was delightful. I love Dan Levy to the ends of the earth. I think he's fantastic.
Who's Dan Levy again?
Who's Dan Levy? Have you ever seen Schitt's Creek?
Oh, no. He's Eugene Levy's son?
He's Eugene Levy's son, yeah.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, and
I haven't gotten around to Schitt's Creek. I know. It won every Emmy. I need to get to it.
Yeah, it's good. It's definitely worth it. That was the only Christmas movie I watched that was new. I also watched just a bunch of stuff. I had never seen Minority Report.
Oh, okay. That's a pretty good one.
Yeah, and I watched that recently. It was like...
Yeah.
It was okay. Ultimately, I was like, I don't know if I ever want to watch this again.
Oh,
but
okay. I haven't seen it in a while.
Oh, okay. It's a lot of Tom Cruise. That's fine. I watched on Disney Plus on the old DP. I watched Soul.
I also watched Soul.
It was a very interesting movie.
Yes. I think like in terms of Pixar, for me, it's kind of middle of the road.
I think that's fair. There's been brilliant Pixar movies, and this one was just good.
Yeah, but I think like in terms of like animation and stuff, I think this is probably this is probably their highest quality movie.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah.
And the way they conceptualize like extraplanar beings through animation was super interesting.
Yeah, apparently that was, I guess the original director dropped out at one point. I can't remember why. I think it was, I don't think the movie was originally about jazz. But the original director was like a traditional animation guy, and he did a lot of that like impressionist, cubist kind of. I guess it's more cubist, isn't it? I don't know. Yeah, like the 2D line drawing kind of character design, and I think that was kind of the only holdover from his reign. I don't know.
For some reason, I knew you were going to use the word rain. And I was like, it's going to be a weird choice, and it was. But I really like that animation.
No, I liked it too. I liked
his
it
leadership,
a lot.
His direction.
His direction, yeah. I liked it a lot too.
His hold of power.
I thought it was interesting. I haven't really seen Pixar do like more realistic looking humans before. And I mean, like, they're still obviously cartoons, but they look, I don't know, something about them where like they didn't look like Pixar characters. Especially I found like the students in his band class.
Yeah, my mind immediately went to the students. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, because he's obviously got like
definitely
a very
still cartoony, but
yeah. Like, you know, the top half of his head is a lot smaller than the bottom half of his head. And, you know, the, excuse me, the saxophonist lady has a very, like, hook nose kind of thing going on. Yeah, so, like, they're obviously
cartoony. It's just a very different style. It was just a different style, and it was really refreshing.
Yeah, but there wasn't, you know, the Pixar mom with, like, the pencil-thin neck and the dump truck booty and that kind of stuff there. Yeah. No, I liked Soul a lot too.
And then one other movie. I actually just watched it yesterday, so it's fresh on my mind, and I really enjoyed it. It was the movie Captain Fantastic.
I love that movie.
Oh, it makes me happy to hear you say
so much.
It was fantastic. It was right there in the name. I mean, it's been a while since I've seen Viggo Mortensen in something, and
he needs to be in more stuff.
He's still so hot. How is he still this hot?
Dude, he is my Silver Fox daddy goals. Like, that is what I want to look like when I'm in my 50s.
Fair. Absolutely fair. What fucking hunk. Man. And his voice. That Aragorn voice.
Yeah. Captain Fantastic was the movie that inspired me to start learning how to speak Esperanto.
That's why you started learning how to speak Esperanto? I remember when you started, me being like, what the hell? Why?
Because there's a scene where they speak Esperanto.
Yep.
And I was like, what is this language? And then I Googled it, and I was like fascinated by like why it was invented. And at like I saw like a TED Talk where this primary school teacher from England was talking about how learning Esperanto is kind of like the language equivalent of learning how to play the recorder.
Oh, right.
Where it's like it's very, very simple to learn, and it teaches you like the basics of learning other languages. And it kind of helps get you in that mindset for learning languages, like simple like the recorder, where it's like it teaches you about finger placement, embouchure, how to read. You know, that's usually when a lot of people start learning how to read sheet music for the first time. You know, time signature, stuff like that.
It's a stepping stone.
It's a stepping stone where it's not like you're not going to hand a kindergarten. Like what he said is like French is a bassoon. You would never hand a kindergartner a bassoon and ask them to play it because it's insane. That's what an insane person would do. But you can hand them a recorder and be like, here,
body and their mind.
Blow on this, and they'll be able to make a sound. So it's like, yeah,
it'll be bad.
It will be bad. There's no such thing as good recorded music.
It turns out there is. You can
Fuck
Google
off,
it.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Okay.
Some people play the recorder. Well, I mean, this is an interesting segue into something else we need to talk about, but a prime example of good recorder music.
I know where you're going.
It's The Mandalorian.
Yeah. But to be fair, that's like a bass recorder.
He uses an entire family of recorders. There are moments where he is using the kind of recorder that I have in my closet that I haven't touched in years because it sounds like garbage to me. He uses little ones like that. It does come up. The main theme is a gorgeous, rich, large one for sure. But he uses a whole family.
Like that, right?
Yeah.
Like that's like a bass recorder, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, trust the Swedes to find a way to make a recorder cool.
Yeah. Ludwig.
Should we talk about it?
Yeah, let's get into it, man. So I think last time we podcasted, there were still 2 episodes left. Or maybe it was just there was the one left.
Yeah. No, I think there was just the one. Because we talked about Bill Burr, right? We talked about Bill Burr and Mando taking off his helmet.
I think it had come out, but I hadn't seen it. I think that was the problem.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, okay, real quick on that episode. I like that episode a lot.
Me too.
I like Bill Burr. I like that his character has a more complete arc in about 2 minutes than some of the characters in the entire sequel trilogy.
Yes. So true. It felt so good.
Yeah.
My gosh.
Mando taking off his helmet. I have a couple of conflicted feelings about. If you haven't seen it at this point, I doubt you care, so spoilers for everything. But like, how convenient that there's a terminal that has to scan your face and you not have to have your face in the databank, just a face. You just have to have one.
Yeah, that was my suspended belief kind of came back down to me at that moment. I was like, what?
No, it's an old screenwriting trope, right? If you give your character a fear of fire, they're going to have to run into a burning house at the end of the movie. If you give them a fear of snakes, they're going to have to fall into a pit of asps, very dangerous. If you give a character a thing where it's like he doesn't take off his helmet ever and show people his face, obviously it's Chekhov's face. He's going to have to take off his helmet at some point. And you're going to have to see his face. Yes. That's true. I get that. And it's weird because it is a good character moment. Because it's like, okay, he's very, very determined to find Grogu at this point. And like, that's more important to him at this point than the Creed.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, I get why that's an important moment. However, and it's a bit spoiled because we already saw his face last season once, but I think the more impactful face reveal was at the end of the last episode when he takes off his helmet and shows Grogu his face for the first time.
Absolutely.
And I'm like, that would have been a really good way to...
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm like, that would have been a really good way to, like, bookend that arc, right? Mm-hmm. Like, that's him completing his arc in a way. And the other one kind of felt like they went a bit early.
I guess I think it was
it's tough because I don't hate it.
Stepping stone.
Yeah.
And I didn't hate it either. It did feel like a little bit contrived. And was also overshadowed by how much the episode was about Bill Burr and how much I loved it.
Yeah. And so like I think there could have been like a way to like maybe you don't like, you just see him from behind as he takes off his helmet and it scans his face.
Or if it was like a retina scan and there was like an eye visor or something, so he had to show like part of his face.
Yeah.
Also, retina scans are more something that makes sense in general.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, at the very end where it's in front of everyone, but more importantly in front of Grogu.
Yeah.
That still had emotional weight for me.
Oh, definitely. That was the big moment.
Yeah,
for me as well.
Little hand, he touches his face.
Oh my god,
little puppet hand.
What?
And
like, I kind of don't fucking care about this show anymore.
Because now it doesn't look like Grogu's gonna be in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's
I'm like
fair.
This whole show is about him trying to get Grogu to a Jedi. And, like, now it's like, oh, well, I guess it's going to be, like, Bo-Katan, and, like, they're going to try and reclaim the throne of Mandalore. I'm like, I don't fucking care about that, man. I don't fucking care about it. All the shit from the Clone Wars that was about Mandalore, and then all the stuff in Rebels about Mandalore. Like, why do they keep going back to it?
Yeah, I want new stuff.
Like, it's a whole race of people that's based off of an action figure. Like, it's not.
That's so true.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just like, can we do anything else? So, yeah, I don't know. Like, for season 3, and then they're doing the Book of Boba Fett.
Right, yeah.
Which I'm like, okay. All right.
Yeah.
Fine.
Yeah, that was my feeling too. Like, okay, I'll watch it.
Like, you're committing to this Boba Fett retcon? Okay.
Committing real hard, apparently.
But Ming-Na Wen's gonna be in it. And
yes, which was what I'm most excited for. I would love more Ming-Na Wen. Absolutely.
Yeah. So. Yeah, no, I'll watch it. Like I said, I'll watch anything if it's good. I was skeptical about The Mandalorian when they announced it.
Yeah, I remember that.
Because I'm like, really? The first show you're going to do is going to be about a guy that looks like Boba Fett but is not Boba Fett, and then you're just going to, like, make him do all the cool stuff that you wanted Boba Fett to do when you were a kid playing with your toys? And,
And then you were pleasantly surprised.
They managed to make it work. So I'm like, all right. Fucking impress me again.
Yeah. Well,
this is where I'm sitting. But
we'll see.
The Star Wars thing I'm most excited about, obviously, is Rogue Squadron.
Oh, yeah.
The next feature-length movie is going to be Rogue Squadron, and I'm pissed because I had, in my mind, if I ever got the chance to make it to Hollywood and ever got to pitch a Star Wars movie to Lucasfilm, that was the one that I wanted to do.
It was going to be Aaron Dawson's Rogue Squadron.
Yes, and I would have made sure to put my name across the top of the title, like a narcissist.
I assumed.
It was gonna be like a young Wedge movie. It was gonna be kind of fun, but oh well. Yeah, but get there in time to do like Rogue Squadron 9.
Oh yeah, that'll be gold. At least that'll be the one where you could conceivably get Clyde into.
Yeah, our friend Clyde. That'll be good. Anyways,
excuse me.
Do you want to talk about Luke Skywalker?
I mean, yeah. Well, I guess I don't really know what to say at this point.
Face look really fucking weird.
Yeah, I mean, like on one hand, I was like, oh, better job than Rogue One with Leia, and on the other hand, not. She still shouldn't have. In my opinion. Oops. Yeah, no, it was weird. And it also, it wasn't a big reveal that it was Luke, because we see him trashing shit up on his way, and he's like, oh, he's wearing dark clothes and a cloak, but he has a green lightsaber and one of his hands is gloved. So I'm like, oh, that's Luke.
At what point did you know that it was Luke?
As soon as I saw the gloved hand.
Okay, yeah. For me, I had a sneaking suspicion when the X-Wing flew in, and it was like just one X-Wing. Oh, great. And I was like, who flies an X-Wing? And then I saw the dark cloak and the green lightsaber. I'm like, okay. Because there was rumors that maybe it was going to be Ezra from Rebels.
Right, which would have been interesting, I think.
Yeah, and he also had a green lightsaber. Mm-hmm. And then I can't remember what I saw first. It was you either see the lightsaber hilt or his belt buckle in one shot. And I saw the belt buckle. I'm like, oh, that's Luke's belt buckle from Return of the Jedi. It's Luke.
Yeah.
Apparently he hasn't changed his clothes in 7 years.
And when you've got a look that works for you, you work it.
Work the look, man. Yeah. It was cool. I mean, I really hate the fan discourse around it. Because everyone's like, finally, we got to the Luke Skywalker equivalent of the Darth Vader hallway scene. We get to see Luke being a total badass and not a pussy like he was in The Last Jedi. And I'm like,
no, I don't even. I totally, completely, 100% give up on the Star Wars fandom. I don't give a shit what the fans say anymore.
I know, right?
I've lost all respect. Whenever, I think I said this last time, but when someone tells me that they're a fan of Star Wars, that I don't connect with them with that anymore. If someone's like, "Oh, I love Star Wars," my immediate thought is like,
"You probably
need
suck.
to fucking punch you in the face right now."
Like here's my problem with that is like, it's like you didn't watch Return of the Jedi.
Yeah. Seriously.
Like, do you remember what he did at the end of the Return of the Jedi? He's like, I'm just gonna throw my lightsaber away and you can fucking kill me, I guess, because I'm not doing this anymore. Like, I'm not gonna give in to that rage. And, you know, the one loophole I've seen around it is like, well, he's killing droids, and I think they did that on purpose, by the way.
Yeah.
Because I think if, you know, Luke Skywalker shows up and just murders a bunch of, like, stormtroopers and Imperial officers the way he did the Dark Troopers, it's like,
yeah, that's not...
Now I'm uncomfortable.
That's not right.
Mind you, he has murdered a lot of people, but...
Well, yeah. Yes.
But it's like, okay, like, yeah, it's like it's a fun action scene, but you don't need to, like, get your dick fully hard about it.
Very delicately put.
like I watched it and I'm like, okay, yeah, cool. It's cool. I like it. He's hacking up a bunch of droids, but then they're like, you know, there's so many people like putting the Darth Vader scene and then the Luke scene right underneath. They're like father, like son. It runs in the family. They fuck shit up in hallways, and I'm like, oh my god, I want to stop breathing through your mouth. Stop it.
Yeah.
So, yeah. The other Star Wars thing because they announced like 1 billion Star Wars things, by the way. You're getting 1,000 billion Star Wars things for the rest of your life, and you can never escape it.
Yep.
Is The Acolyte, which is a show created by Leslie Headland, who created the show Russian Doll, which I have not seen, but I've heard amazing things, and it's on my to-watch list. And it's going to be set in the like High Republic era, so like 300 years before Phantom Menace.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so I'm like, good. Let's get out of this Rebellion and Empire era.
Yeah.
If we're not gonna go forward, let's back it the fuck up, so that we can do cool and original, interesting things without having to be like, here's that thing you like, and don't you fucking dare put Yoda in it. Swear to God.
Well, we'll see.
He's like the only character that could possibly be around back then. Don't you fucking put Yoda in it.
Well, yeah, I'm interested to see
or Yoda's dad.
Oh,
or like don't
Yoda's dad. Yes, please.
Boda.
Grungy.
One thing I did watch over the Christmas break that I never thought I would watch, but I watched it and like it has been burned into my brain ever since.
Oh.
Is the movie Cats.
You watched Cats?
Yes.
Why?
My girlfriend made me watch it.
She wanted to watch Cats?
She had seen it already.
What? And she wanted to watch it again.
And she's like, you need to explain that. She's like, you need to experience this. And I was like, okay, fine, I guess, but we're getting high.
Okay, that was going to be my next question. Were you under the influence of anything when you watched it, and did it help?
Yes and yes. I took a weed brownie.
Oh, okay.
And it definitely helped. And I was so like the next day I could not get Cats out of my head that I watched it again sober.
You really?
And it did not help at all.
I wouldn't assume so.
And the question that I've just been asking myself over and over again is why?
Oh man.
I don't know how familiar you are with the musical Cats.
Just the one song.
Memories. That one?
Yep.
Yeah. So I knew very little about cats as well. I knew that song. I think I knew that there was a cat called the Rum Tum Tugger.
Oh, yeah, that sounds familiar.
And McCavity. I knew those kind of things. That's all I knew. I had no idea what the plot was. Turns out there is no plot.
Oh.
The musical this is the plot. There's a bunch of cats called the Jellicles. It's like a tribe of Jellicle cats.
Okay.
Which is a made-up word that T.S. Eliot made up.
Cool.
And they're all based on, all the songs are based on poems that T.S. Eliot wrote in his book called Old Possum's Book of Practical Cats. And the plot is every year the Jellicle cats have a festival to decide which one cat will ascend to the Heaviside layer and become and will like get renewed for another life, kind of like Logan's Run.
What?
Yeah, so that's the plot of the movie, and basically the entirety of the movie is a cat will show up and be like, "Hi, I'm Busterfer Jones. I'm a fat cat," and he'll sing a song about how fat he is. And then the Rum Tum Tugger will show up and be like, "I'm the Rum Tum Tugger. I'm a curious cat," and he'll sing a song. And they'll be like, "Here's Skimbleshanks. He's the railway cat. He can tap dance." And it literally just goes on and on and on like that. Just like, here's a new cat. They're singing a song about themselves, and then they leave, and then another cat shows up, and they're singing a song about themselves, and then they leave, and they like tried to, I guess, and that's like the plot of the musical, and I guess they tried to work in this plot in the movie where like McCavity, played by Idris Elba, is like kidnapping other cats that he thinks could like be his main competition to Ascension.
Okay.
And anyways, it's so baffling.
Wow. I can't believe you did that.
I can't either. But like honestly, and I say this with 100% seriousness. And I think the only reason this hasn't happened yet is because of the pandemic, but I think this has the potential to be like the Rocky Horror Picture Show of the 21st century. Like, really? I think in the right context, where you're seeing it in a movie theater with a bunch of people who are there that want to experience it the same way that you do, which is to laugh and yell at it and have a fun time. Like, I think it has huge potential to be a midnight movie. But the problem is, if you're like going to the cinema and like someone's like taking their grandma to watch Cats, and you and your dumb friends are like, "Yeah, let's get high and watch Cats," and you're like yelling at the screen, like obviously you're gonna ruin people's experience. But if it's like, no, come down to the Rio at midnight, dress up as your favorite cat, have a cat name, and you know, we're serving liquor and we're just gonna play Cats, like I think it would be really good. Should we get into our movie of the month?
Yeah, speaking of rewatching this weekend. No, I'm not gonna.
No, I didn't. Yeah. We're doing part 2 of our The Distant Future, the year 2000, where instead of watching movies that came out in 2000, we're watching movies that didn't come out in 2000 but are set in 2000.
Oh boy.
I'm just kidding. We're just doing it's a one-off. We watched Death Race 2000.
The year 2000. America is a vast speedway. People line the streets to witness the greatest drivers on Earth in a race from sea to shining sea.
This is a death race.
You finish first, or not at all. Death Race 2000.
The bridge between last year and this.
Yeah.
Death Race 2000.
I had it on the back burner as like a just in case kind of movie. Like if there was like, you know, I couldn't find a good movie that I wanted to do. I was like, we'll just do Death Race 2000 because it kind of works. But I figured it was a good way to get out of last season, if you will, and get into back into the old school way of doing the podcast, which is where we watch some crap that's old, and then we make fun of it a bit.
Yeah, what year was this one from? Do you remember?
Nope. Let me look it up. 1970 something. I want to say 1974 or 1975. It's like right before 1975.
There we go.
It came out right before Rocky. So Sylvester Stallone was in this movie, and the next year he wrote and starred in Rocky and won an Oscar. So
yeah, that's a big step. Yeah, there was excuse me. There were a few recognizable faces and voices in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
We got
David Carradine.
Yeah. Bill from Kill Bill.
Mm-hmm.
We got what's his face? John Kreese from The Karate Kid.
Oh shit, yeah, he is in this.
Yeah, did you not recognize him?
No, and I should have, because I've been watching season 3 of
Cobra Kai.
Yeah, yeah, fucking look at that.
You know, he doesn't. It's a long time ago that this movie came out. He kind of doesn't look that different to me.
Yeah.
It's like, sure, his face is like a little bit more wrinkly, but it's always looked like that. I think he was born like that.
It's quite possible.
Yep, and then of course, Sylvester Stallone's in it too.
Mm-hmm. John Landis apparently made a cameo as one of the mechanics.
Oh.
Yeah.
Interesting. Didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Death Race 2000. What's it about, Aaron?
Okay, so there's a race across America that takes place every year, I guess, and the point is to hit and kill as many people with your car as possible along the path in order to score points.
Yep, hence Death Race.
Yeah, and the person who scores the most points, and I guess finishes first? Like, you still have to finish first?
No, you see, that's a very interesting question that I don't think the movie ever answered.
Okay.
All we know, you get points for killing people, and it's a race.
Yes. And at the end, you get to shake hands with the president.
Yep, the winner gets to shake hands with the president. That's what the movie's about. Done.
Yeah. And this movie's a comedy, right? Like,
it's another interesting question, Aaron, which I don't know.
It has to be satire.
I really don't know.
There's a character whose name is like Swastika Sally.
Yeah.
And there's like a bunch of people waving Nazi flags. Like,
yeah, there's
it's
a
not
Nazi
Swastika
presence
Sally.
in this movie, and it's not
Matilda the Hun. That's it.
Oh yeah, Matilda the Hun.
But they call her like the swastika she-god of the road or something like that.
Yeah, she's got some Nazi stuff going on. Her co-pilot, her navigator, is a Nazi.
Yeah. And there's just a bunch of people waving swastika flags as she rolls in.
Yeah, there's all of the racers are hyper,
I think they might call her the master racer or something like that. Like there's like a master race joke. Anyways.
Oh, I don't remember that one, but that's ooh, wow. All the racers are like caricatures essentially. It had that kind of cartoony element to it. But at no point was it made certain to me that this was supposed to be funny.
See, the thing I think that tipped it over the edge for me was...
So the hand grenade?
Well, the hand grenade was good.
We'll get to that.
No, it was the announcer guy.
Oh.
Like his performance, I'm like, okay, at the very least, he knows what movie he's in. Like...
Yeah.
I don't know if everyone else does.
And the announcer going insane. I was like, this guy kind of has some like Monty Python vibes to it.
A little bit. It definitely had like a satire kind of comedy thing to it going on. And I did a little bit of like reading, and apparently this was produced by Roger Corman, who's like the king of B movies.
Right.
And so apparently him and the director went back and forth a lot, where he wanted more comedy, and then Roger Corman was like, no, we just need more shots of people's heads getting squished by tires. And so kind of, going back and forth, taking the comedy out and stuff like that. So I would I would classify this movie, I think, as a satire.
Okay.
And I think they're sort of satirizing the American obsession with violence.
That would make sense.
Yeah.
The plot.
Because it's like right after Vietnam, and like that was the first war that was being like broadcast into people's homes. There was footage from the front lines in Vietnam that was coming home, and people were seeing like actual war footage for the first time, and movies got a lot darker and more cynical then. So I think it was probably, if I had to guess, I would say it was a satire, and it was kind of parodying that.
Okay. I guess that's fair. Well. But yeah, that's the general plot. We have this death race that's highly televised, and America loves it. And yeah, the America that we're set in the distant future, the year 2000, is very cult-like. Mr. President seems to be revered as a god.
Yeah.
And
that's just it. There was definitely some like Hitler vibes going on with the president. They're wearing like a brown military uniform.
Mm-hmm.
Where the American president usually wears a suit.
Yep.
Also,
at one point they say the United Provinces of America. Did you catch that?
I missed that.
Yeah, I specifically wrote that down. They say the United Provinces of America, and I was like, that's strange.
That is very strange. One of the things I found the funniest was that they blame the French for all their problems.
Oh yeah, yep.
Just that straight happens.
Up. But they do it to misdirect public attention.
Yeah.
Like
so there's a group of rebels that are trying to get the death race shut down, and so they're planting bombs in fake babies, because if you hit a baby it's like 100 points, whereas like a normal person is just like 40 points or something like that.
Yeah, that's right. The younger and then I think the older are worth the most amount of points.
Yeah.
They go through the whole rating system in the movie, and it's wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yikes. It's real bad.
It is pretty rough. And that was another thing that kind of all of the like televised segments where they're like interviewing like the widow of the man who was just run over by Frankenstein and like stuff like that. And they're like, isn't it great that he gets to be part of this like national event and he's going to be remembered forever? And she's like fucking sobbing and going like, my husband just got run over. They're like, yeah, but it's by Frankenstein. Everyone loves Frankenstein.
Right, yeah, we kind of failed to mention up to this point, for those who haven't seen the movie, our lead character, played by Bill of Kill Bill, is Frankenstein.
I guess he's the lead character?
I mean, isn't he, though? I guess we sort of have two leads. We have Frankenstein, who is America's champion. There's a line at the beginning of the movie said by like the TV announcer, in the name of Mr. President, America loves you, Frankenstein. I just thought, wow, I love that quote out of context.
So like I would have, I think, interpreted as like Frankenstein as like the main antagonist of the movie, and then Machine Gun Joe, played by Sylvester Stallone, would have been the protagonist. But then like the way it ends,
you thought Machine Gun Joe was the protagonist?
Yeah.
Really? He was just some asshole as far as I was concerned.
Oh no, like he is an asshole. I just assumed it was a bad script. Like I was like, okay, like there's no way they're gonna make like the guy whose face we never see the protagonist. Who would do that for a piece of media? I know, it's ironic.
Yeah. But no, he's totally the lead. He's the one we get the most about. And then our secondary character is his navigator, who That's like a coveted position to be the navigator of Frankenstein, and it seems like it changes every year. And it turns out that is the daughter or granddaughter, I think, or daughter, I can't remember, of the rebel leader, and she's there to F up that race.
Yes, it's granddaughter. It is granddaughter.
Granddaughter. Okay, yeah,
that's my bad. Yeah. Well, I think the other reason that I assumed Frankenstein was going to be the villain is because he's like the favorite. Like he's like the most popular one, and so then I'm like, okay, well then Machine Gun Joe is gonna come in for the upset, and he's gonna take out Frankenstein, and that's gonna be like the hero's journey.
Oh, that's weird.
But like
he's
now,
like clearly just a huge asshole who's like a big rival, and I think I don't remember correctly, but like he might have been one of the only returning participants because usually everyone dies.
Yeah, maybe.
But yeah,
it's unclear.
He was just a competitor in the thing, and he had machine guns and a big sword sticking out of the front of his vehicle.
Yeah,
all of the vehicles are so cartoony, by the way.
Oh, they are. Yeah, he also gets like the most screen time aside from Frankenstein.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's very confusing.
Fair.
But so basically, what you end up learning about, I don't know, 10 minutes from the end of the movie, 15 minutes at the most, is that his whole goal is to win the race so that he can shake the president's hand and blow him up with a hand grenade, which is literally he's missing a hand and his new fake hand is a grenade.
Yep, there's just a big grenade sticking out of the palm of his fake hand that he always keeps gloved.
Yeah.
And
he's gonna do that to kill the president.
Yep, because he plans on being the final Frankenstein, because Frankenstein is like a legendary figure now for Death Race 2000, and like he goes in these accidents and he loses a leg and then he gets a new leg, and then he loses an arm and he gets a new arm, and he has all these body parts replaced, and that's why he's Frankenstein. And it turns out that is just a bunch of government bullshit to deify this racer, and he is just one of many Frankensteins, and he's like, always got this tight leather suit on, and he's wearing a gimp
suit for the entire movie.
Yes, absolutely. Except for when he takes it off to, make love, because it's a Roger Corman movie. Although he does keep that one hand gloved up until the very end.
He sure does. Yeah.
And now we know why. But yeah, he like through the eye holes in the face and through the mouth hole, it looks like his face is all fucked up. But then he takes the mask off, and it was just part of the mask, and it's just David Carradine. And he's a real suave about it too.
Yeah.
But
and there's like a bit where there's like a cult that like worships Frankenstein.
Oh yeah.
And like one of the girls from the cult shows up and she's like, oh, Frankenstein, like I've been chosen, and he's like, are you here to offer me your body? And she's like, yes, but not in the way that you think. And it turns out that she's been chosen to just like jump in front of his car.
Yeah, just stand out in front of the road so that her life can have meaning by becoming part of his score for this year's race.
Yeah. It's just points for him, right? So.
Oh boy, yeah. Jeez Louise. But there's a few points in the movie that we get where it's like, oh, maybe Frankenstein's not all evil. Because he's the favorite terrain. And then, okay, so there's one scene. Wow, it was bad. It's euthanasia day at the geriatrics hospital. That happens, and all the nurses roll all the old people out into the road so that Frankenstein can run them over. Frankenstein instead veers off the road and goes along the causeway in front of the hospital and wipes out all the nurses who just pushed the old people out there. Which was like, That was kind of funny.
Yeah.
But also it's like,
see, this is when I'm like, okay, I'm pretty sure that this is a satire. It's supposed to be like a dystopian satire because, like, Euthanasia Day, really?
Yeah, I mean, I guess, if I had been watching it with you, I probably would have caught on that it was a satire. I was taking it a little too seriously, given the state of the world. That's all I'm going to say about that.
Fair enough.
I mean, yeah, thinking back, there were some absolutely ridiculous, some absolutely ridiculous sound effects.
Yeah.
Like, someone would hit a car and it would be like, like.
Oh, yeah, totally. And also, I had one of the notes I had written down was like, tires squeal on everything.
Oh, constantly, yeah.
Everything. Like, there's one part where Machine Gun Joe, like, drives, like, into a creek bed to try and hit a farmer who gave him directions.
Oh, yeah.
And he's, like, literally driving through the water, and it's like, it's like tires squealing, and I'm like, oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah. No.
Cool.
That works. But yeah, so then like the bulk of the movie is the rebel insurgents who they do manage to kill a few of the racers. It's trying to take out Frankenstein, their prime target, because he's the favorite. He's, America loves him. And his navigator is trying to, throw him off course, but also he catches on to her, and, makes love to her. And she starts to fall for him.
Mm-hmm.
Which...
And then he drugs her at one point?
Oh, yeah, he drugs her so that she passes out during, like, a rebel attack via airplane. And then the airplane crashes because the guy wasn't good at flying, I guess? And then she wakes up and like, what happened? And he's like, your friend's dead, honey. I don't know why. That's not what David Carradine sounds like at all. I actually recognized his voice before I saw his face because I was like, oh, that's Bill.
It's Bill, yeah.
He's got such a good voice.
Yeah, I can't remember why he drugged her. I think it's because he thought she was communicating with the rebels, which she was.
She was.
Yeah, she was spying on him, so he didn't want. He wanted the rebels to think that he had killed her for some reason. Because I think there's even one line where the pilot's like, "He must have killed her. We're not getting anything."
Oh yeah, and like he flies over and she's like slumped over in the seat.
Yeah, but also like they're just like dropping bombs, trying to hit the car. It's like you're gonna kill her if.
Yep.
Like unless she bails out or something, but.
Yeah, this is a little unclear. Anyway. Yeah. Long story short.
Well, and then it's after that we find out that his mission is to kill the president.
Right, yeah, he comes clean with her. Which,
yeah, he's like, I can't have you guys fucking this up for me because I'm gonna get to the end and I'm gonna shake hands and I'm gonna blow him up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But then it comes down like the end of the race. It's just Frankenstein and his rival Machine Gun Joe, and the navigator. She takes off his grenade, in order to stop Machine Gun Joe. Like he uses that explosive to end him. So then like they do complete the race, which like again like I really want to know the part of me that like that enjoys different kinds of sports and racing and video games all together. It's like, I want to know how the point system fucking works and whether or not it matters if you cross the finish line first, or is that like worth an amount of points? And I'm so bothered by it because none of it mattered because he was the only racer left. So even if he had taken a million years and scored no points, he would have won anyway. And I hate it, but that's just me. That's nothing to do with the movie. That's my problem. And I'll
maybe
deal
it's
with
like, it's like Quidditch. Where like once the first person to cross the finish line, or once the first person crosses the finish line, the race is over.
Oh, interesting.
You know, or maybe it's worth a certain amount of points. Like, the snitch is worth 150 points or whatever. And, you could technically catch the snitch and still lose.
Right. Yeah.
You know?
Okay. Let's say it's that, and then I'll be able to sleep at night. But yeah, so it's just Frankenstein left, but the hand grenade's gone. And so they like, pull up to the end, and there's the president up on this big, like high rise. That's not the right word. It's like a big scaffolding thing that looks all nice. A big platform. And the crowd's cheering, going wild, and we don't see the navigator, but Frankenstein gets out. Immediately, you can tell that it's a woman because it's a really tight suit.
Yeah.
Personally, I mean, there's a cape, sure, but it's the navigator. You can tell right away. And so she goes up to the president.
She has her right hand.
That too. So she goes up to the president. I really don't know what her plan was, but she goes up there, and then turns out her grandmother was in the crowd.
Well, she had a knife. There's a shot where you can see she has a knife, like a little scalpel that she's like kind of slipping out of her sleeve.
Oh, I forgot about that. Okay,
again with her right hand, where you're like, isn't that the hand? Okay.
Yeah. So she's just going for a good old fashioned shanking for the president. But then her grandmother's in the crowd, thinking that that's Frankenstein, and that Frankenstein killed her granddaughter.
Yeah. And
she pulls a gun and shoots Frankenstein, but not the president.
Yeah.
And also didn't really shoot him very well. I thought that he got shot in the head, and then that was going to be a really tragic moment in the movie. It kind of seemed like she was fine afterward. But anyway, that happens.
Well, yeah, they
there's
get
a
married.
Big uproar. And then all of a sudden, Frankenstein, who's naked,
yes,
pops up in his vehicle and then just drives into the platform. And it seems like everyone gets off in time except for the president, who lands on the hood of the car, and from that sudden, I guess, 15-foot drop is dead.
I guess so.
And then everyone cheers.
Maybe he has really brittle bones. Like maybe there's not a lot of calcium in the future. Maybe.
The
milk's gone bad.
The milk's gone bad, America. But then everyone cheers. Like, this was it presented to me like a very cult-like America where the president was worshipped.
Maybe.
And he goes down, and everyone just fucking loves it because they love blood sport more than they love government.
Yeah. But I mean, like...
And because it was Frankenstein, I think everyone was just super on board.
Yeah, could be. But, like, you think in, like, Turkmenistan or somewhere, like North Korea, where they got these, like, military dictator leaders... Like, you think if like one of them was like publicly executed, you don't think there'd be a few people cheering?
Okay, but everyone cheers.
Sure, but I think you pretend to get on board with government. Sorry, say it again.
I assume that it was a brainwashed mass.
Oh, okay. No, see, I was looking at it more as like, you put your head down and pretend to be on board with, the party, because otherwise you disappear, kind of thing,
Okay. I mean,
like a Soviet Union kind of situation, right?
Right. Okay. That makes a little more sense then, given that everyone was super okay with the president dying.
Look, maybe I'm just trying to, justify it somehow.
I think you are. I think you are just justifying all the problems I have with this movie, but we'll unpack that in a few, because we just got the end of the movie to work out. Frankenstein kills the president. That means he gets to be the president, because that's how government works. And
totally.
And then next thing we know, him and the navigator, I feel bad that I just don't remember the character's name at all, but they're married, so they're now Mr. and Mrs. President. And then
yes, they are.
Like, they're like coming out of, I think they just got married, like they're coming out of the chapel, and the news is there, and it's the same reporter is there who is doing the death race, and they like publicly announce just after getting married that they are abolishing the death race, which is what actually brings the movie to its completion. That was the arc, was stopping the death race, and then they do it because now they have total control because they rule the government. And the announcer is super protestant and was like, no, people love the death race. How can you, Frankenstein, who have been deified by the death race, abolish the death race? We need the death race. And he like stands in front of their car to stop them. So they run him over.
Well, yeah.
Roll credits.
There's, the education system in dystopian America is about as good as the education system in real America. So,
ooh. Yeah, but it's just like they stopped the death race to stop the blood sport. But the movie ends with them just running one more guy over.
Yeah, anyone who opposes the lack of blood sport will be publicly killed.
That's what it felt like. Yeah. And so then the credits roll, and the credits, by the way, they start with like some sort of evolutionary report on murder.
The history, it's like literally the history of violence, like how violence was created. It's like first there was Homo erectus, then they evolved into whatever, and invented the tomahawk and used it to murder each other.
Yeah,
and ever since then humans have loved murder. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
Exactly. It was so, just so weird.
Yeah, and so that is yet another thing that I think lends credence to the satire theory. But can we just talk about how they're blaming France for everything?
Yeah, there's like they don't want to alert the public to the rebel violence. Like racers have been killed by the rebels. And they're like, oh no, that was something else. Like, oh, that was mechanical trouble. And then like when eventually like it gets out that there is violence, they're like, oh no, there's no rebels. It's the French.
It's the French. Like, was there some sort of like America-France like feud in the 70s that I just am not aware of?
Yes, there absolutely there is an America-France feud now for a lot of people.
Is there?
Yeah, absolutely.
But I mean, not like like America and Russia, like like America and France like fought on the same side in both world wars and stuff.
Oh yeah, but I feel like it's been a very regular trope in media that Americans hate the French. And I mean, like, there has been weird stuff. I don't remember when it was, but there was the whole freedom fries movement.
Oh yeah,
in America there was at one point where just like all over America people were just dumping out like honest to goodness champagne that comes from France and like French wines and just dumping that shit down the drain in hatred of France.
I mean, like, it's no secret that like I'm sure the French all look down their noses at Americans.
Probably yeah. Most people do, to be honest.
Especially now, like, yeah. But I would imagine, like, the French would be like, "Oh, you fucking American pigs, you didn't disrespect the French, you motherfucker, have no culture, kind of fuck your sister, piece of shit,"
Well, I mean, to be honest, I don't know that much about history. I'm not good at history. I hated social studies, but I'm pretty sure there was one point during the which war was it? There's so many wars.
First World War. Second World War.
No, not the World Wars.
Korea.
No, the war where America was like, fuck you, England. What was that one called again?
Oh, the War of 1812?
I don't know. The one where they wanted to be independent and decided to do it through blood sport instead of writing a stern note like Canada did. Where like France came to their aid for a battle, and then they were like, we come to your aid, we're gonna like supply you with arms and stuff. All we ask in return is that you return the favor someday. Again, I don't know all the shit, but I'm pretty sure France came to America's aid, and then when France needed America, America was like, no, we're busy.
Okay.
This is really off topic.
I just thought it was weird that they went to like France, because I'm like, it's like the 1970s, like Russia's right there, like you could just be like, oh, it's the USSR fucking shit up for us.
Yeah, it would have been easy.
Yeah. Or like the Vietnamese getting revenge, or something, right? Like, Vietnam just happened. You had Korea, like, a couple decades before. Like, why the French?
Yeah, that's... I don't know.
Like, that to me is about as random as being like, ah, yes, the Estonians are attacking again. Like, or like, there's a Brazilian invasion happening. Like, I don't know. Seemed random. Stop blaming France for all your problems, America.
Straight up.
What else did you want to touch on? Anything?
Thinking back and, just kind of taking this moment to recollect the entire movie with you, I realize now that it was obviously very stupid and satirical. Because there's one of the racers, though, like the southern one, and she's got a car that just has huge bull horns coming out of the front of it.
Yeah.
She goes to run someone over at one point who, like, gets out of the way and then just all of a sudden takes out a big red, like, tablecloth, and there's a whole matador scene, but with a car.
Is there?
There's a bullfight with her driving the bull car and him, like, holding up the curtain, and then she drives by and, like, oh, it just misses, and oh, it just misses, but she's driving a fucking car. Why wouldn't she just hit him instead of go for the tablecloth?
Yeah. I have no memory of this. Full disclosure, I was a little distracted while watching it. I was sexting. It was fine. So there's maybe like a 20-minute chunk in the middle that I don't really recall what was happening.
Well, you missed a bullfight with a car.
Fuck, I gotta go back and watch that.
And then eventually he does get gored with one of the horns and falls over. And then, only then, when he's lying on the ground in pain, then he gets run over.
Okay, I think I have a vague memory of him getting gored by the horns, and then...
There is also a point where Machine Gun Joe, using the sword sticking out of the front of his car, just cuts someone's dick off.
Yeah, I remember that.
Just gets the construction worker right in the cack.
Right in the dick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then maybe runs his head over to put him out of his misery, or just leaves him there. I'm having a hard time remembering. But anyway, there's... Yeah. Oh. No, there's one more thing that I want to address, actually. Sorry to keep this going.
Yeah.
No, this is a race. This is a race.
Yeah.
Right? Supposedly.
Of course.
But after the first day of racing, the first leg of the race, they all have a pit stop together in the same building where they all get naked massages in the same room.
On TV, by the way.
It's televised, yeah.
Yeah. Like, while they're being interviewed, like, two of the girls just sit up and start yelling at each other, and just, like, their tits are out on TV, like...
Yeah. We didn't get to see any cock, which was, I felt like, imbalanced the scene for me. And then, of course, Frankenstein doesn't participate because he's in a gimp costume.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they all just chill together in the same building and have like private rooms, but all their cars are parked in the same parking lot in the garage.
Yeah. Well, there's even a scene where like Machine Gun Joe is like in the garage and he's talking to Frankenstein's navigator.
Yeah.
Which is the navigator that Frankenstein built out of a bunch of random body parts. And Frankenstein comes out and he's like, "Oh, hey, Frank, man, I was just down here. I caught him messing with your car, man. I didn't mean to." And then, they get in like a little scuffle.
Yes.
I would describe it as a scuffle. It's not quite a fight.
Yeah, scuffle's good.
Yeah.
It's the kind of fight that you would see in a 70s movie, where they grab each other's shoulders and then they turn it to the side a little bit and then one of them gets thrown and does a very theatrical roll off of the hood of a car,
None of them ever did the, like, where the guy goes for the low grab and then the other one does the, puts your hands in like praying position. Like,
the double fist.
And do the double fist to the back.
Oh, that's so classic.
It's a classic like Sean Connery, James Bond era move.
Yes, absolutely.
The double fist to the spine that somehow like completely knocks someone out.
Yep. I mean, I've never tried it.
No, neither have I. I'm not going to. But, I mean, I guess if you hit someone hard enough, you could like break their spine, and then they're not going to get up to fight.
That's true.
So
that was weird. That was a weird thing. One of the many weird things about this movie. This is a weird movie.
Is this the first Roger Corman movie we've done?
Is it?
I think it might be.
I mean, we've certainly talked about him on the show a bunch of times.
Surely. I mean, Roger Corman is, like, without a doubt, one of my favorite filmmakers of all time. And it's not because I think he makes good movies. Oh, no, Chopping Mall.
I was about to say, who did Chopping Mall?
It was like the fourth episode we did was Chopping Mall.
Okay.
But it might be the first Roger Corman. Oh, no, he also did The Punisher. Okay, we've done a few.
Yeah, I thought so.
First one in a while, though.
Mm-hmm.
Forbidden World was also Roger Corman. Oh, okay, fine. I was wrong. Fuck me. He's legitimately one of my favorite filmmakers because, like, not because I think he makes good movies, but just because, like, the dude loved making movies so much, you know? Like, he's the guy that was like, all right, I'm going to rent a camera on Friday. Because if I rent it on Friday, I only have to pay for 1 day rental fee, but I get it for the whole weekend, and I only have to take it back at the end of the day on Monday. So if I rent it first thing in the morning, I can get 4 shooting days out of the camera. Saves money. And there was like times where he's like, we shot an entire movie in a day and a half. And so we still had the camera for another day and a half, and so we shot another movie.
Oh, that's like, so ridiculous to think about.
Yeah, he just always has scripts going in the office. He's like, find a short script that we can film real quick. And they're like, oh, we got this one about a squid monster. He's like, do we have a squid costume? They're like, we have an octopus costume. He's like, good enough, let's do it.
Jeez.
Yeah, there's a really good documentary of, I think it's called Corman's World. And like, the type of people that have, got their start with Roger Corman. Ron Howard got his start directing for Roger Corman.
Oh, wow.
Martin Scorsese directed a movie for Roger Corman.
Oh, weird.
Like, I think James Cameron, Piranha. He was working on Piranha.
Oh. Weird.
Got his start there. Yeah, so I think what the quote that Martin Scorsese says is like, Marty, if you do a good job for me, you'll never have to work for me again.
Oh, that's so nice.
Yeah. And I don't think he ever did. So
perfect.
Yeah, so I have a huge admiration for Roger Corman and his just like sheer hustle.
Mm-hmm.
Just nonstop.
That's impressive.
Hustle and grind. And the dude's 95. He's still making movies.
Jeez.
95, 96.
Wow.
Something like that. Still making movies, so.
That's nuts.
Yeah. So, anyways, good on you, Roger Corman. Matt, how do you rate this film? Oh, wait, actually, hold on.
Oh.
What are we? Death Race 2000. We should do Rotten Tomatoes. We always forget.
Oh yeah, Rotten Tomatoes. Oh, wow, what did Death Race 2000 get on Rotten Tomatoes?
Okay.
I feel like I'm gonna guess that people liked it for some reason. I'm gonna guess 61.
My friend, you are so far off.
Oh, good.
No. 83.
Wait, what?
83% on the tomato meter. The critics' consensus is Death Race 2000 is a fun, campy classic drawing genuine thrills from its mindless ultraviolence.
I can't argue with that.
Audience score 64%.
I was really close to the audience score.
Yeah, you were.
Wow. I mean, if you decide that it's a satire, and it is very campy, that's true. Ultimately, there was a lot of moments where I laughed, and it was kind of fun to watch.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what to rate.
I'm gonna say Craptacular.
You're gonna say it's Craptacular?
I would definitely watch this again, especially with friends once it's allowed.
Yeah. If we had a good old fashioned culture night, I would be super down to watch Death Race 2000. Let's put it on the Craptacular list.
Nice. All right, so that pretty much brings us to the end of the show then.
Pretty much.
This was Death Race 2000. If you like the show, you could please rate and give us a 5-star review and leave a comment on iTunes. That always helps a lot. You can find us on all of the socials at RetroCrapPod on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and retrocrappod@gmail.com. We didn't have any emails this week, but we did have some YouTube comments.
Are they scathing?
Ooh, this one's fun, though. This is from the Reindeer Games episode. Harsh Pal says, "What is this? Care to explain?" To which I replied, "It's a podcast."
That's it? Just, it's a podcast?
It's a podcast. And then there was another one that had commented on the Vertical Limit episode. It says, "Please upload in video."
Oh, yeah. People get really, really, really confused in the YouTube community when a video is actually a podcast.
Yeah. There's another one that says, "You didn't even play it."
Yes, YouTube commenters are so dumb. Like 90% of the time, it's just, please keep commenting. I love it.
Should I change the title of our channel to like the Retro Craptacular Podcast?
Nope.
Just keep it the same. Okay. Anyways, we're also on YouTube. We're on all of the podcatcher apps. If you got Apple Podcasts or Google Play or whatever on your phone, Spotify, we're all on there. We do one episode a month. And next month we are going to be back with a movie, probably. I don't remember what it is. Let me just look real quick. It's Battlestar Galactica. We're gonna watch the pilot, which I guess in the U.S. it was like a 3-part pilot for the show that was released theatrically in Canada and in Europe and other places as the movie Battlestar Galactica.
Right.
As a way to kind of recoup some of the costs of how expensive the pilot was to produce, because it came out like a couple years after Star Wars, and they were like, we want to do that, but on TV.
Right, yeah.
So, yeah.
Sweet.
So, yeah, we're going to watch that. I've never seen it, which I'm very excited about. But I did recently, as dedicated listeners will know, I did rewatch the entire 2004 series. So it'll be fun to compare and contrast.
Indeed. Yeah, I'm excited to see that.
Cool. Yeah, so that is the thing that we're going to do next week. We also have a Patreon that you can check out. We recently recorded a commentary track for The Rise of Skywalker.
Oh, yeah. I forgot we did that.
It's rough. It's not as scathing as I expected it to be.
Oh.
I think I was just more sad than mad at that point.
Oh, yeah, that's fair.
It
had been out for long enough.
Yeah. But anyways, that's up there. Still, lodge quite a few complaints about the movie. So if you like Rise of Skywalker, maybe don't listen to it, because we're just going to bitch for an hour or however long the fucking movie is. 2.5. It's too long. And that's it, I think, right?
Yeah, that sounds like that's all the stuff. Yeah, we did it. We kicked off the new year.
Woo! Happy 2021.
However many years we've been doing this. 4?
This is year 5.
5.
I want to say we started in 2017. Yep. I can tell you what year,
that is
actually.
Correct.
Because it's whatever year.
I remember the apartment that I lived in that we started it in, and it was the apartment I moved into late 2016. So
yes, and the first episode we did was Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, which was to coincide with the Power Rangers movie coming out in 2017.
So good.
We rushed that first episode out in time.
Nice.
And it shows.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah. I like that Power Rangers movie, though.
Yeah, me too.
The new one. It's good.
I want another one.
Me too. Won't happen, but,
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the show. Thanks for listening. And until next time, keep watching crap.